Hey now, I'm Dave Lemieux, and here to do a little introduction for our special presentation of the Grateful Dead movie. 50 years ago, I'm filming this October 8th, 2024. 50 years ago next week, the Grateful Dead performed 5 nights at Winterland, and it was quite realistically going to be the Grateful Dead packing it in. They didn't know if they'd be coming back after these shows ever, or if it would be the end of the road for the Grateful Dead, such as it is. Thankfully, it was not. And thankfully, from 1975 through 95, they kept playing and making incredible music, both new music and performing live. Thank goodness. But they didn't know. They'd been on the road for 9 years by this point, October 16 through the 20th of 1974 at Winterland. And because they might have been the final shows, the Dead, Jerry in particular, had the idea of filming all 5 nights and recording to multitrack and producing a proper Grateful Dead movie, hopefully capturing the live Grateful Dead experience, the experience of what it was like, being a Deadhead from the fans' perspective. And also there was a lot of incredible sort of backstage and little interview footage. So Jerry, after filming this movie, the Grateful Dead took, as you probably know, a hiatus for the next almost 2 years until June of 1976. And in those couple of years and even beyond, Jerry in particular spent all of his free time, such as he possibly had. He was playing with the Jerry Garcia Band, Legion of Mary before that, and then the Grateful Dead come back and record Blues for All in 1975. Jerry spent all this time producing, editing, creating the Grateful Dead movie, which came out in June of 1977. The premiere, the debut, was on June 1st, 1977 at the Ziegfeld Theater in New York City. And then it played theatrically all around the United States and presumably Canada, maybe some other places, I don't know. But the film was shot, they didn't shoot all 5 nights complete. They shot a couple of songs the first night. The playing in the band is a notable one. It's in the movie. And then the second, third, and fourth shows, the 3 middle nights, they filmed quite a bit, probably about 50 or 60% of each of those shows. And then the final night they shot about half as well, maybe a little less than half. And really, I think the focus was getting at least, if they were doing, let's say, China Rider, they played it, I believe, twice during this run. When they got a really great one in the can, filmed on October 17th, the second show, when they went into it on the 5th night, on October 20th, they didn't film it. They just shut the cameras off because they already had a really great version of China Rider already in the can. They filmed from about 5 or 6 cameras. There were camera people all over the stage and the audience, behind Billy, all over the place. And it was shot to 16 millimeter negative. And then that was then printed into 16 millimeter work prints, from which Jerry and the editing team of Susan and John, they edited the work print together to create the final cut of the film. And then the negative was then cut together and blown up to 35 millimeter. And that 35 millimeter negative is what the theatrical prints of the Grateful Dead movie were produced from. Now, jumping ahead to 2004, we went into production on the DVD of the Grateful Dead movie using that original 35 millimeter theatrical negative, the negative that was used for the theatrical prints. And we spent months color correcting it, making sure every frame was exactly perfect. Jeffrey Norman remixed the audio, plus included the original audio that Jerry had mixed with his crew in 1975, 76, 77. So it included a few soundtracks, two surround sound mixes, one from the original theatrical mix, Jeffrey Norman's new mix, and a new stereo mix. And then we also went into the outtakes and found about an hour and a half, I don't know, a lot of music that we included on the DVD. Again, going back to the 16 millimeter negative, which is actually even a better quality than the 35 millimeter negative because it hadn't been blown up. And we produced the bonus material. And for that, we focused on 2 things. One, songs we knew Jerry wanted in the original movie, but we couldn't he couldn't fit. The movie was a little over 2 hours. So we focused on those. A few of those songs we knew he wanted in there. And then a few things that we just felt were important parts of the 1974 Grateful Dead experience. We wanted to make sure those would be included here as well. So you get Dark Star, Uncle John's Band, China Rider, and seeing the interplay in China Rider is just spectacular. A full Weather Report suite, Scarlet Begonias with a nice jam coming out of it, Sugary. There's a lot of good music here. So this was just my little introduction to say, enjoy this. 50 years ago from when I'm filming this, the Grateful Dead performed these shows October 16th through the 20th at Winterland in San Francisco. And from these 5 shows, became the Grateful Dead movie, and all of the outtakes you're also going to see. The movie itself is, Jerry had a lot of, I was going to say Jerry's masterpiece. Jerry had a lot of masterpieces, as did the Grateful Dead. This is one of them. This is just, to me, it's the best audiovisual document of the Grateful Dead experience, of the music, of the concert. I remember the first time I saw this, mid-1980s. So when I saw this, it had been out for almost 10 years, maybe, and it had been filmed about 10 or 11 years before I first saw this, around 1985. And I couldn't believe it. I said, well, if that's what it's like being at a Grateful Dead show, I want to spend every single moment I have free seeing Grateful Dead shows and can afford to go to. So that's kind of what I focused on the next many years. And here we are 50 years later, and I'm still focusing on this music. While I was getting ready to shoot this video, I found one of an old DVD copy of this, and I had it signed by Donna Jean Godchaux and Eddie Washington. Eddie was one of the producers of the movie, and a great guy as well. Lives up in near where I do. Well, not near, but up in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta, but I don't even remember getting the sign. I don't think I did. I think my good buddy Tom Stack, Tom Stack, good guy. I think he actually got it signed for me and then gave it to me. So Tom, thanks for this. I cherish this in my collection of Grateful Dead things. So Grateful Dead movie with a whole lot of outtakes and bonus footage of concert footage shot at Winterland in October 1974, a peak era for the Grateful Dead, and fortunately captured on film. And multi-track audio. Everything you're about to see was also mixed from the 16-track audio mixed by Jeffrey Norman back in 2004. Sounds amazing. Thanks a lot for bearing through this little introduction, and enjoy the Grateful Dead movie. I mean, I've seen this movie literally hundreds of times, and I never tire of it. I'm going to watch it again, plus all that great bonus material. Thanks a lot, and Grateful Dead movie.